it is. There's peace in the kingdom. Hey, yes it is. We got the key to the kingdom. Yes we do, I know we gonna unlock the things from the Lord. We got the key to the kingdom. Yes we do, I know we gonna unlock the things from the Lord. No matter what you're going through, Jesus got the keys for you. You can bind things on earth, it shall be bound in heaven. You can lose things on earth, it shall be loose in heaven. We will. We got the keys to the kingdom. Yes, we do. I know we gonna unlock the things from the Lord. Ever you we got the keys to the kingdom. Ever you we gonna unlock the things from the Lord. Keys to the kingdom. He had them for me and you. Keys to the kingdom, I know he do. We got the keys to the kingdom. Yes, we do. I know we gonna unlock the things from the Lord. Ever you we got the keys to the kingdom. Joy, peace. We gonna unlock the things from the Lord. Ever you we got the keys to the kingdom. Yes, we do. I know we gonna unlock the things from the Lord. Peace. We got the keys to the kingdom. Yes, we do. I know we gonna unlock the things from the Lord. Ever you got the keys to the kingdom. Yes, we do. I know we gonna unlock the things from the Lord. Ever you got the keys to the kingdom. We gonna unlock the things from the Lord.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome and welcome and welcome to a special night of Kingdom Citizens of Wisconsin. And I have a dear friend of mine that's with me today, and a couple of more people supposed to join us. And I'm excited to have her on here. Her life is never going back to normal. She's been fighting for a long time, and I am excited to have her here with me all the way from Sheboygan. It is Miss Ruth Barrera.
Hello, everybody.
Did I say it right? Barrera.
Villarreal.
Okay, you got it.
You can just say Ruth V.
Ruth V, you guys, we're excited to have her. We want to welcome everybody tonight because I think this is something that we all need to talk about. I believe that they are having a school board meeting in Wauwatosa tonight from what they're planning on teaching our children. And so, yeah, we want to have this conversation tonight.
Yes,
and you know what's interesting as we start this? I saw some articles, and I should have kept them, and I'll probably look them up while we're on. But I saw an article where it was talking about the difference between a pedophile and a child abuse. That say there's a difference between the person that sexually abused a child and a pedophile. So somebody gonna have to help me understand what's the difference.
Well, they're just trying to normalize, the behaviors and saying that there's nothing wrong with the behaviors until you act upon them. Well, everybody knows that you don't have these behaviors without the intent of wanting to act. It's a premeditation, when
Yes.
you start to do those things. So it is leading up to that.
And first of all, everybody that's on, we're glad that you are on. So make sure you share, hit share it with the people you like. But also, I would love for you guys to let us know what county you are coming, you're tuning in from. Help us out with letting us know what county that you are in. What they're trying to do is trying to say a pedophile has the right to fall in love with whoever, whatever, and a person that abused children sexually is the one that's crazy.
Mm.
That almost sounds like Clinton when he said, "I smoke, but I didn't inhale." I mean, I mean, when we really, really, really think about this, right? You're teaching our children something, or you're attacking our children, um, and you're putting something on them that they should not, especially K5, K4, K5, first, second, third grade, fourth, fifth, sixth graders shouldn't be thinking on those kind of notes. And so,
And there really isn't even an interest. I have, 4 living children, and they're not interested in those types of things. It's ingraining them with it and telling them that they're supposed to be interested in this stuff. They'd
right.
much rather be playing outside and doing games. Um, I witnessed that with my own children. My 3 adult children, they range from 26 to 21. I didn't have television in the home when they were growing up. It just so happens that I couldn't afford it. And so there was a stark difference between raising my 3 older children and then now my youngest son. And he's exposed to a lot more stuff because of television, or which was a choice his father wanted to make. He had to have his sports in the house, so that meant cable, because you can't just pick one channel. When you do cable, you have to pick it all. And so that opened up the door to having those influences in the house. But what I did notice about my son is that even when stuff like that would come across the television, I was bothered by it because I knew, but he just went on his business, and he wasn't entertained by it, because to him it didn't matter. He didn't know anything about it. It's when we start to teach them about these things, and that it's supposed to be important, that they grow an interest in it. But I mean, a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, they don't, it's not innate for them to want to know this stuff.
Well, my youngest of the tribe just turned 5. And I call her a princess. And if anybody in the school call her anything other than a princess, it's going to be I don't even know why I want to call it. Because it's, the sad part about it is this. Churches are quiet on this topic. First, let me before we get deep in this and everything, let's say hi to Jefferson County. We have Jefferson County in the house. We have Portage County in the house. We have Dane County in the house. We have Milwaukee County in the house. And if anybody else we didn't call your county, just throw it up there. We already know we have Sheboygan in the house. So, you guys just keep coming in and throwing your oh,
Gotta change positions here. It seems that my
so
phone isn't plugged in here.
oh, okay. So for me, my problem comes when you take the innocence from a child.
Yep.
Then I got a problem with you. And for um it's to be in the school, and they bold about it. They are literally bold. Oh, we got Wood County in the house. We also have
Woohoo!
we also have somebody from Milwaukee, but is in Missouri right now, and we welcome all of you guys on. So let's get this party really started, because one of the things that I am upset about, and every parent or everybody with that has a moral compass should be upset with what the school systems are doing right now. I was traveling the state, and I told the people in the state they just gave $82 million to push SEL, and they was coming so fast. It was going to be like a cancer. They was coming so fast. They also gave federal dollars for lunch money, if you wanted lunch money, and it was to allow boys who want to be a girl, and allow boys who want to be a girl to shower with girls, and girls who want to be a boy to shower with boys. And I also found out today that the Peel Court, let me say it right, because I'm telling you, you guys, it just done something to me. Let me just go to my source. That 3-judge panel of the Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeal rules that a male identifying as a female should be housed with female inmates, even though he remains male body parts.
Hmm.
So that means I can go do a crime, and when you get ready to sentence me, I can say, well, I feel like a woman. And you're going to send me to a women's prison? What kind of sense does that make? And we already saw where one man was in a woman's prison and got 2 inmates pregnant. Yep, got 2 inmates pregnant while he was there. 2. And now you want to teach middle school sexual activities. So that means their homework is what? Okay, last case I heard is up to 3 women pregnant.
No, jeez.
Oh wow, he having so much fun. But they're teaching middle schools sexual activities. So what's the homework? Go experiment with another boy and come tell us how you felt? Go experiment with another girl and tell us how you felt? I said earlier today, a virgin cannot be a nymphomaniac. You only can be a nymphomaniac is when you tasted sex, you had sex. Then you can become a nympho. But a virgin who never had sex cannot be a nymphomaniac. So why are you trying to turn our kids into nymphos?
Yep.
You
Turn
know,
on curiosity.
and you're telling them this stuff, and most children, now the peer pressure is coming from the school and not their peers. Because if you never tried it, you're going to be made fun of.
Yep.
So they're going to try it just so they don't be made fun of.
And it's an activity that they are pushing not just with children. They're pushing the adults into this as well, because they tell the children, um, you know, talk to people that you trust. Who are the people that you trust? And that same dialogue that you just shared, like, what are they supposed to do? Go and try it and come back and report it? Yeah, well, they're going to ask the same thing. Who did you talk to about it, and were they supportive of your experience? Did they show you? you know
Right.
did they support you?
How did it feel?
Yep.
How did it make you feel?
Did you feel safe?
And a pastor was telling me there was a boy, he was in K5. I think he was K5 or first grade. K5. And the teacher brought him in and put him on a dress. First, she showed him the dress. He said, "Oh, the dress pretty." So she put him on the dress and said, "How you feel?" If that was my child, and I'm saying this on record, I would have a prison ministry. If you took my son and put him on a dress at school, I would have a prison ministry because I would snap. I would literally snap. And I'm telling you, the things that they're doing to our children, I'm not telling parents to go kill anybody. So let me put that out there. We're not saying kill. We're not telling you that. But what I'm saying is now it's time for us to stand up. We should have lawsuits against every person that's teaching that. I will get that information and I will get that to you because we want to know. I want to know if the teacher got fired or if any charges was pressed against her. Because you can't say a man that's watching the computer of child pornography can get arrested, but the teachers can teach and educate and push child pornography on our children. That's something that uh, I am not going to play with, and we have to do something. And I think every school board that voted for any of this crap to be taught in any school should be charged with child pornography.
Agreed. I was just watching the news today, and I did post it on my Facebook page. But there is a program called Ghost, JHOST, and apparently they are a network that goes and tries to pinpoint pedophiles, their behavior, and try to help communities out in regards to finding these individuals and bringing them to justice. And it just so happens that there was a gentleman who was a teacher. He's already been arrested. His teacher, I believe he was if he wasn't a superintendent, he was a coach. um, might have been all of them, but he had years of doing acts with children that were in his care while he was in the school system. And so he's already been charged, and he's not teaching anymore. But my question is, that's great, that you caught this individual, but isn't our government setting up these opportunities now? But yet you want to sit here and make this individual look like a criminal. Well,
Right.
they're all criminals.
Yeah. Hey,
What
Chad.
are you doing?
Chad, can you inbox me that pamphlet? Because I'm really curious about that pamphlet. All of these is coming in so fast now. These comments, y'all keep them coming.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah. Yep, have to be bold.
Yeah, it's time to be bold now. And you know, I'm trying to get everybody. Just Ghost, Just Host, is that the one you're talking about?
No, it was spelled to JSOST, JHOST. GHOST is what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, I posted it today. But as I had mentioned, I applaud them, but at the same time, what are you doing to stop this stuff from happening in the first place? You have teachers teaching children sexual acts in school, and they shouldn't adults shouldn't be thinking about sex or sexual acts in front of children, period. I mean,
That is so true.
it just reeks of sin.
And so you got the same picture I saw. Okay, I get you. So when we look at it, right? All I know, it was in Michigan, between Lansing and Detroit, the one with the stranger. And I was just reading something that the children, man, where was that at? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. But they wanted to remove the word stranger danger.
Hmm.
They don't want you to use that term anymore, stranger danger. And then they said, but what if the children need help? What if they need uh to take the safety? But when you telling them that don't offend a pedophile because it might
Hurt their adult feelings.
yeah, you're gonna hurt their feelings. It's like using the N-word.
Unbelievable.
And I'm so sick of them using us black folks for everything. It's getting on my nerve. I'm trying to catch up with the comments. Okay, she said sorry. Okay, got. Yep, we have to come together, and we have to be so on guard right now. I told the people in the bank, don't ask your kids this year, do they have any homework? Ask them what kind of conversations they was having in class.
Yep.
It's because we already know a lot of stuff is not in the curriculum. So we have to ask now, what did y'all talk about today? Tell me, what did you talk about? So, these are some of the things. Well, we're not going to find out who published it. We're trying our best to find that out. And when people start to make a noise, they hide their hand. They threw the rock, but they hide their hand real fast. I also put that alphabet book. Did you see the alphabet book I put up about? Yeah. I mean, come on now. Why all of a sudden we got to have all of this stuff? And so when we look at it, it's in our face though. But because we so focused on taxes and wasteful spending and everything else, they say, yeah, y'all focus on that. And while y'all running down the road doing that, we're going to stay right here and we're going to get the children, because that's what we really want. We want the kids. because if we get the children and we get the children to be confused about sexuality, we get children to be confused and upset about God and this country, we win. And they know they'll win if that happens.
Yeah, and
It's,
I think there with Rita's comment, you know, it's so important as parents that we stay actively involved in school. I know my son is going to a charter school right now, and we have to volunteer. As part of them going to the charter school, the parents have to volunteer 40 hours. And so we're in the school, whether it's in the lunchroom, helping as a teacher's aide. There's so many different, you know, arenas, but you know, it shouldn't be a requirement. It should be something that we want to do. You know, we
yes.
want to be in there, and there should always be parents around. There should always be people, you know, around in school. Um, you know, and you know, as David had mentioned, you know, asking your children after school during supper, sit down and actually have a meal with your kids. There are people who keep themselves so busy. Everybody eats supper at a different time. They're all being carted to different sports. Right now, Jeff has his son, and this year I said, you know what? If you wanna go ahead and have him in football, you're gonna coach. You need to be present. And so
Right.
he's away from the home. And we have to stop allowing the public system to raise and rear our children. That's our responsibility. And I understand that it gets tiresome, but maybe they shouldn't do sports then. If we can't be, you know, actively involved, then they need to be home. They need to be home with their family. And there's other activities that can be done, you know, at home as well.
Well, you know, I think, you know, for some, you know, we have to, you know, uh, I think we have to do it what, case by case, because um, this is where the whole family gets involved. And then let's be honest, some of the family members we can't trust either.
Mm, yeah.
Because some of those family members are the pedophiles. Some, I mean, let's just keep it real. Some of the people that we thought we can leave our kids with, we can't leave our kids with these days.
Yeah.
And so, you know, a pedophile, no, I'm calling it like I call it, a sick pervert. That's a pedophile. And so I know they want that common name.
Minor attracted people.
Right. So, but you know, we have to get to that place.
Oh, that was the book, The ABCs. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yes, I put that out there too. I'm so sick of this crap. And you know, we gotta stop allowing them excuses. We gotta stop allowing um things like this to happen. And the sad part about it is a lot of us ain't gonna pay it no attention until it hit our house.
Yep.
That's when we're gonna pay attention. When it hit our house, then we want to fight. When it hit our house, then we want to make some noise. No, we gotta stop. We gotta do it before it get to the house, and we gotta, you know. And I know everybody said, "Well, let's just pull them out of homeschool." Everybody can't homeschool. Why not just fix the problem instead of putting a band-aid on the problem? Why not challenge every school board? See if we can press charges if the school board voted that crap in. I remember Rosie put on one of her comments, let's all join together and put a class act suit on all the school boards that have it. You know, I mean, they just did it with what? Election integrity. All they did was found somebody in that area to sign on that lawsuit. So why don't we do the same thing when it comes to our children's education?
Yeah.
You know, they put out a lawsuit on Zuckerberg, and all they did was went around and got somebody in that area that lives in that area, and they joined the lawsuit. So why are we not putting up a lawsuit for our children? Why are we allowing them to call us domestic terrorists when they are openly showing us that they're pedophiles and they after our kids? And some teachers don't want to do it, but they got to get paid. They want to check. They want to eat. So they offended.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing about another schools, and sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. If it's going to make the other one do right, then it's a good thing. But if it's going to give you the same thing that the other one's giving you, then it's going to be a bad thing. And you know, the Republican Party, they've been pushing universal school choice. Let's see if they're going to really do it, because but that won't take place until after this school semester. So what do we do right now? We can't wait until they hit us with universal school choice. So what are we going to do right now when it comes to dealing with our children, their education system, this madness of confusing them, this madness of allowing them? How is a K-5, a kindergarten social emotional learning? K-5. Confused sexuality. K-5. How?
Yep.
Because of
Well,
K-5. Huh?
I'm not sure. I know in our district, for Sheboygan, we worked really hard to get that as part of the registration process. So what happened last year, we noticed that all of a sudden these kids were getting surveys, and they said, well, we sent an email out to the parents. Well, they sent the email out the night before. And how many parents actually even read their emails every day, you know?
Right.
And so, you know, we worked really hard and we negotiated with them, and we said, you know what? Have it as part of the registration process, where parents, you shouldn't do an opt out. It should be opt in. You have to opt your child in, not the other way around. And so that's what happened this year. So when I registered my son, you know, there was those two forms on there that we had to opt in our children. And
what
you
do they mean? What do they mean by opt in? If you're trying to opt them out?
So usually for the opt out, it's they're assuming that every person or every parent or every household wants to be a part of it. So you have to take yourself out of it. Say, I don't want anything to do with it. Right. Well, we want it reversed, where a parent would be like, oh, this is what I would like my child to learn, versus the other way around. So assume that nobody wants anything to do with it, and the parents that do will opt their child in.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then we get a clearer picture of, okay, which households actually want their children learning this crap,
So
versus the other way around.
So instead of you saying, I don't want my child in it, you have to say, I'm going to opt in and I want him in it.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So during the registration, it came up, you know, social emotional learning, and it took you through what, you know, they were supposed to be teaching, and then you could opt in if you wanted, you know, your child to be part of the class or whatever. And it had to be part of the registration, so you had to answer the question, or the registration process was not complete. It would not allow you to complete it. So, you know, that way everybody's informed. Everybody knows. You're forced to read through this stuff and be aware of it. They can't just say, "Oh, I sent out an email the night before." You know.
That's okay. I got it now. That's good. That is good, because of the fact that You know, we need to make sure what our children are being taught, and give us an option. And we need them to say, okay, when you're making us opt into this other mess, then you should allow us to opt into a Bible study or opt into a prayer time. You know, let's try to put some God back in this stuff, right? Let's opt in a Bible study. You know, they used to allow what's called good new clubs at the school, but some schools don't even allow that anymore. You know,
Yeah.
and so let me see what they saying.
Well, it's all over. My stepson's always talking about it's something about, oh, so and so's gay, and he's in fifth grade, and we're always like, what do you know about gay?
Right.
You know,
These kids don't know
she's
nothing.
gay. She's gay. I'm like, we didn't even. This wasn't something we ever discussed.
Right.
Ever. We didn't care.
And the thing about that is that's the stuff that burns me up. How is a kid gonna know what sex he like or he want to be? How's that possible?
Yes, because at their age, they like everybody. They like boys and girls. They're all their friends.
Right. And so you're gonna tell me a kid is confused because he's gay, but he ain't never been with a boy. How you know he's gay?
Yeah, it's a fad. It's this weird fad.
That's that crap they putting in the kids' head. Who told you you were straight? Do you like being straight? What are you talking about? I'm a kid. I mean, that stuff that just burns me because that's the
Ask me in 15 years.
right. That burns. That burns me up. Like my son, he come to me, he's like, Daddy, can I get my hair cut? I mean, my ears pierced. I said, no. When you grow, you can do whatever you want. But right now, no. And let me show you why. And I took him to the Bible and I showed him where a man owed another man money. And he couldn't pay it. So he had to be a slave for 7 years. After the 7 years, he's free. But if the person he owed was treating him good, then he could go to the doorpost and pierce his ear to let everybody know that he desired to stay a slave. And so I told my son, you're not a slave. So you can't do that. But when you've grown, then you get to think about it again and revisit it. But now as your father, no. And so, and he only wanted his ear pierced because his big brothers them had their ears pierced. But they was grown. I said, when you get grown, you can do whatever you want. I can't control you after you're grown. But right now, it's not happening. And that's the only problem. And it wasn't that he wanted to be gay. He thought ear piercing was cool. And I'm sitting there like, no, it's telling you you're a slave. I'm showing him according to the word of God what it means. So how is a K5 first grader, second grader gonna know if they gay? And they don't even know, they don't even know, because it used to be when you talk up to a boy, you like that girl, no. And now all of a sudden, you like another boy? That's so great.
Yeah.
I tell you, that person would be sucking soup for the rest of their life. Because that's how I used to say it. The opposite sex got cooties. You be like, oh, girl got cooties. No. And now you're going to try to confuse them, say, you're gay?
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a game. It was a game. How
And
many times did we run around the playground and, oh, so-and-so touched me, goodies.
Right. And we didn't know if we liked you. We just pulled your hair.
Yep.
But this This crap that they're doing right now.
What?
I'm gonna go see if my friends can play.
Okay.
This crap they doing right now. I remember it was, I think what grade we was in? I think we was in like 5th or 6th grade. You had to be cool with your guys. Remember that they try to make us do ball dancing where you had to pick a partner, and we didn't want to touch. Oh no. We didn't want to do all that stuff. But they sit here. I'm trying to catch up with everybody on the comments.
Courtney
Pastor
just came
Tyrone,
on.
bless you, sir. I didn't know you was on here tonight. Pastor Mays is on here. Pastor Tyrone, God bless you. Okay, now let's see these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why you think they're after the kids? Because they know if we deal with the kids first, it's hard to change an adult's mind. It's hard to change an adult mind saying you can have a better life. No, I can't, because they already stuck in their brain. But the kids, a kid is like a sponge, and they soak in everything because they just want to learn. It's like they want to know. Let's see. Yep, it's about population control. And you know what? The sad thing about that is this. It's right in our face and we're not saying nothing. How many times I went across the state and says, if you keep sending your kids to Caesar, don't get mad when they come home a Roman.
Nope.
And
Well, I remember, I think one of those questions came up during the debate when, I just ran, for state senate, and that question came up in regards to, abortion. And I remember so clearly because I had 3 children by the time I was 19. I was married in high school. I graduated already with 2 children, my high school, my senior year. And, I remember so many people, pushing that, if you get pregnant, you get an abortion. That was a big thing. It was the thing to do, is to get an abortion because, it'll ruin your life. You can't have a career. You won't be able to go to college. You're not going to go and be able to have fun, because you had children. And, it was the biggest lie ever.
Yep, you're gonna be a failure. No prom, no nothing. Like you ain't got family member to babysit on prom night. Come on,
right? And I'm just like, so did I defy everything because I graduated from high school and I still had a nursing career? You know what I mean? And I can't compare myself to anybody else because my life was just my life. Like I had 3 young children and I went to nursing school and I did it, and that was just me. And I'm not sitting here trying to compare myself to other people. It was just the situation I was in. Was it harder? Probably, but I'll tell you, it's not any different waiting until you're 30 to have kids, because I waited and I was real tired with my son. So, there's only 2 ways of doing it. You start young or you start older.
Well,
And it's terrible. It's terrible what society places to just cause division. And instead of being a support, just be supportive and be like, okay, you chose to do this, but I remember so many girls getting abortions because that's what was being pushed.
right, but you I guess like they would say you're one of the odd ones, but I don't know because my daughter did it. My daughter graduated. She did she have the baby? Or she was pregnant with the baby. She graduated. Then she had 3 more. She has a master's degree.
Yep.
She has went through school, worked full time, raised her children, and it didn't hinder her at all. It
Yep.
didn't hinder her life at all. And the thing about it is the lies that they tell. Or you just messed up your life. Now we got to clean this up now. Yeah, right.
Yep. And the I, or you deserve, you deserve to, live a life that's, free of worry, and as if children, I don't know, it's just so awful and sinful, to place that in the minds, and I know so many um young ladies, who, because of our faith, they don't want to practice abstinence, and so they marry young and they
Right.
have families, and it's
Right.
okay, and we support them, if that's what you want to do and you want to have a family, okay, well, we're going to support you, we're going to show you what needs to be done for you to have a healthy relationship, and a healthy marriage.
Yeah. And Pastor Mays, you are absolutely right with this right here, because that's exactly what they're teaching them. That is pleasure. It's not nasty. It's not. It's just pleasure.
Yeah.
And you sitting there and you telling a sixth grader it's pleasure. So now you're getting sixth, seventh, and eighth graders involved in having sex. They get pregnant. Now you're telling them to kill a child. So you're confusing them and helping them commit murder at the same time. I mean, wow, really? What
Yeah.
what what's going on with that one? And the thing about it is, a lot of this we gotta educate. And one of the things that I want to do, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I mean, I know what I want to do. I'm just trying to figure out how I do it. I wish I can do it on my show and just have all the kids there. And the reason I want to do that is because, well, I can do it right now. I'm always doing something, right? I can do it right now. So, one of the things that we need to teach them is the other side of the sex, of the pleasure, of the whatever, right? And one of the things that uh, I taught the youth is this: every time you lay down with someone, you give that person a piece of your soul. Every time you have sex with someone, you give them a piece of your soul. So now that's two people right there, right? So now you have sex with another person. That person got a piece of your soul. Now you have sex with another person. That person have a piece of your soul.
Yeah.
And now you give another person. Now that person have a piece of your soul. Now all you have is this. This is where soul ties come from. This is where domestic violence come from. How many times you heard somebody says, "I can't live without you"? Right? So their soul is tied. This is why God was talking about a man and a woman. You're only supposed to have one because your soul would be tied. But wait, that's not all. Watch this. I'm gonna do it real quick, because what I want people to see is the other part of that piece of paper, right? So now you done lay down with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, right? Now, the first person you lay down with, okay, let me catch up with everybody. What they say? Okay, got that. I did that. Okay, exactly. Teach the other side. All right, I'm finna do it right now. Soul ties. Yep, soul ties. Soul ties. Okay, they DNA, but we stand on the spiritual side of this for a second. All right. Let me see this. Okay. Soul ties, strongholds. It never stops. Okay. Now I'm gonna stop right there because I want to show you something. So remember now, I had a whole sheet of paper. This is all I got on my soul now. So when a person lay down, they don't only release sperm, but they deposit you. This is the number 14. That means this person deposit 14 spirits on the inside of you. 14. Oh, this is number is 40. So now 2 people done deposit 54 different spirits on the inside of you. This is the number 10. That's 60 spirits with multiple sex partners. Number 35.
Yep.
95 different spirits on the inside of you. And the number 20. That's 110 demons or 110 spirits that goes on the inside. That's why you got to be careful who you lay with. That's why those spirits gets in on the inside of people. Because when you lay down with a person, you don't just lay down and release sperm, but there's spirits that are being released. And this is why it's so important to teach our children to stay abstinent, to stay clean, to stay pure until they get married. Because one of the things that the church didn't teach the young people was the spiritual side of sex. And that is why you got so many young people dealing with domestic violence and anger and all that other crazy stuff. Because why?
Those are all topics too. Like, I grew up in church. I was born in church. They never talked about this stuff. I mean,
no, because
this
they
is
don't
gonna
want
sound. It's gonna sound really funny, but I remember one time, my mom. I remember after I had, my son, and I got stretch marks, and I was young, and I was like, gosh, this is just. I was like, my body's never gonna be the same. And I said to my mom, I said, if you would have showed me your stretch marks, I probably would have avoided sex for a really long time, because it scars you for life, right? You have scars for life.
Right.
And it's the same thing, the church, if they would have just been like, okay, this is the reality of this situation. And if I would have heard what you just said when I was in church and I was, in my teenage years going into my adult years, and I heard that, I would have been afraid.
Of course. I don't want nothing in. I mean, we keep.
I was like, you better be a good person, because otherwise I want to get your bad spirits. Like, you better go somewhere with that.
But one of the things that we have to understand is that when we look at it, we don't pay attention to the consequences. And even as adults, that's why an adult that have broken up with somebody for about, it could be 10 years, and that person call them up, all of a sudden, that tie, because they never broke the soul ties, it generates. And he can call about 11:30 at night, be like, you mind if we talk? I want to just pull up and talk to you. Okay. And you let them pull up. And then you be like, how did I get in this? How did I get back here? Them soul ties. And that's how a person said, if I can't have you, nobody will. Because their mindset, that's why you have the murder-suicides, right? Because they kill somebody that they love so much, and then they kill themselves because they couldn't live without them. And
there's a country song about that.
Huh?
I said, there's a country song about that.
Yeah. And so when we really look at it, we're not talking about your natural DNA. My spiritual DNA is from God, but we're not talking about natural DNA. And so when we look at it and we start to teach them everything about it, instead of what we was taught, don't hold hands, you might get her pregnant if y'all holding hands. Don't kiss because you might get her pregnant. Instead of telling me don't kiss her because Junior gonna rise, and when Junior rise, you're gonna want to do something that's gonna get her pregnant. Instead of just saying that crazy stuff. Okay, because I kissed her, she didn't get pregnant, so I must be okay, right? No, break it all the way down. Let us know what the real consequences behind what they're doing. So if we don't give our kids the truth and the school is giving them lies, then guess what?
Well, they're just confused.
Yes. Let's see. What is he saying? That's right. It's spiritual. Matter of fact, can we go deep biblically real quick? Let's go deep biblically real quick. All right. And when we ask a person, how many times they've been married? Naturally, some will say one time, some might say 2 times, some might say I've never been married. Biblically, how many times you been married? Every time you allowed a man to go into you, you was married. And every time a man went into a woman, he was married to that woman. Because if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, Jacob had a wedding ceremony with Rachel, but he went into Leah. So when he woke up married to Leah, not Rachel. So he had to wait, 7 more years? Because to them, the ceremony is not the wedding. What consecrate a wedding, a marriage, is when a person go into. That's why when Mary was pregnant with Joseph, they told Joseph, don't know your wife. In other words, do not have sex with her. And that's why she was a virgin. He told Joseph, you're not allowed to have sex with her. You're not allowed to know your wife. So that means sex is that important. So that way we need to teach our children the truth and stop allowing, and I challenge churches to start opening their mouth and teaching the truth and stop allowing the world to tell our children about sex. It's not a dirty word. It's part of life, but they need to know it the right way. Okay, I don't know who this person is. Let me look on here and see who made that long comment. Okay, whoever made this comment, tell us your name. We need to know your name. Yeah, that's a long. And let us know what county you are watching from. And all this. Well, this one, right? Let me say it this way. It's not about God validating. It's about us doing our job, because God gave us dominion. God gave us the authority. So it's not even about God validating them. It's about us doing our homework, knowing who has their moral compass together. And so with that, hold on one second.
See if I can read this last one.
So, okay, wait a minute. Where did I leave off at? Hold on. Let me go back up. Okay, I don't know who that was. It's heartbreaking how the value. I'm blocking this lying behavior.
Not sure who.
I don't see it on this one, so it might be on one of the other pages. Okay, but anyway, we should these curriculums right here that we talked about, the soul tide and all of that, that should be taught in churches right now. Every church should be up. Now, I don't think that's Russ because I would be able to see him. I don't think that's Russ in the night. And so, when we look at things, when we look at things, we have to look at them for what they really is, and and um and and so we 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 got some work to do ourselves, and that's right, Rita. And we have to play a role in this. We all have to play a very important part in this. And one of the things that our biggest problem with everybody is their agenda is the most important agenda right now. And they only going to focus on what they think is important, which it should be our children. And so the problem I have with a lot of people is they don't want to do no work. They want to reap the benefits. They don't want to do the work. But they will uh they'll throw a rock, but they're gonna hide their hand. And they'll holler get them, but they're not gonna swing.
Yeah.
And that's what we're finding out right now. You know, but this is not just a Milwaukee issue. This is just not a state of Wisconsin issue, but this is went national now. This is a whole country issue. And if they can have their way, they would turn this country into Solomon and Gomorrah. If they can have their way. And that's why they're after the children.
And I think it's really important to remember that, the reason why things are moving so quickly is because of our lack of involvement. See, for them, they're not even getting a fight, honestly, and it's sad because a lot of the Republicans, a lot of the conservatives, you know, they for whatever reason, don't put up a fight the way that they do. They're
Right.
and it needs to stop. It needs to stop because you know as you were saying, they're in Wauwatosa. They've already advanced in the stage that they're at, in regards to what they're teaching the kids and what's been already voted on. And a lot of their approach is just seeing if there's going to be any resistance, and when they don't meet any resistance, they just keep going.
Right.
And that's a lot of these communities, and like I said, we've been fortunate here in Sheboygan that there's a good group of parents that are relentless, and to my surprise, a lot of these individuals don't even have kids in the system. One of them, one of our great soldiers in the school fight, just had a baby. I mean, his child's maybe 5 months old, and so he's actively involved, and a lot of them are older individuals who don't have any children in the system. Where are the parents of the children in the system? So we need to stand up, and we need to be you know combating this in any way, shape, or form that we can. um a lot of the stuff that they're requiring for you to sign, I know in my situation, like, with uh things that they want me to sign, I completely avoid them. I don't even turn them in. I pretend like they didn't even ask me to. And that, I'm going to say, 80% of the time works. Just, no, I don't need to do it. I'm not going to turn it in, you know?
Now, Stacy, I got a question. I'm gonna flip that. You said God is exposing so much. Is it God exposing the evil, or is it God exposing our lack of concern for the things that He wanted us to do? I just want to flip it for a minute, because a lot of time we only say, "Well, God is exposing so much evil." Is it God exposing so much evil, or is God exposing that those belonging to Him is not shining the way that they supposed to shine?
I would
Oh,
say it's the latter, Pastor.
we got two saying both.
I just had this conversation with my boss today during, at work. And it's hard. I'm such an emotional person. I have to stop myself from crying, because once I start crying, I'm done. You're not getting another peep out of me. But, that has definitely been the conviction. My personal experiences and everything happening with COVID, that unfortunately was my awakening, and everything had to happen the way that it did, with the loss of my career and everything, because I know truth, and the seed had been planted so long ago. And it was it was a situation where it was like all of the red flags went up all at one time. It's like, you knew about this, like, don't be fooled, and it was that constant all the time. It was relentless and wouldn't let me sleep, literally would not let me sleep, because God's like, I did this for a reason, and here we are now. What are you going to do with it? And I think that was for a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, the constitutional queen. You just finished up an argument that I pulled you into. Okay, you're gonna have to explain that. I'm sending you a link, and you're gonna have to come on here. I know you're in the Zoom call, but
Yes, you need to come on, because Ruth needs to get off.
you check your instant messenger, because now I'm kind of curious of the thing that you said I put you in.
Yeah, I'll have to listen in. Unfortunately, yeah, I have to work.
I know.
I could stay up chatting forever. Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear that. But yeah, before I close out here, we need to be steadfast in prayer. I think a lot of the correction and a lot of the guidance, that we're going to need moving forward, is definitely going to come from our Father, and we got to be open to it, and not allow the enemy, to um, do what he does best by whispering into our ear, things that, should not be there. And, I know for myself and for my household, my loved ones, it's constantly regrounding ourselves, and like being like, oh, we're losing sight of, what we're supposed to be doing, and just reminding one another and within our own household, that we have goals, and exactly what God is trying to teach us in every situation. So I encourage you guys, to do the same, and to make sure that you're praying with your family, your immediate family, because there are a lot of spirits out there. As soon as you walk out of your home, you're being hit left and right. And, above all else, keep our children lifted up as they start in on a new school year. Um, but yeah, I extend my love to you, my prayers to everyone who's on, and anybody who'll listen in the near future. So Ruth is heading to bed.
Yep, Ruth is heading to bed, and we appreciate you coming on. And I know you said an hour, but it's been over an hour. You never can just stick to an hour. So, but but you're absolutely right. But I want to say to I got to go back to one of these. Hold on. This one. I got to go to Russ. Russ, I don't believe that. If I believed that it was no hope for our children's future, then I wouldn't be fighting. I believe that there is hope. It's just parents got to wake up their mind, wake up and do what needs to be done. And so, and it's going to take all of us. And if we sit around and think it's hopeless, that's why we're in this mess now, because a lot of people thought it was hopeless. But I know you got to go. We thank you for being with us, and we'll talk to you soon. Don't leave.
Yes, I will follow up with the rest of it tomorrow.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Best regards. Have a good night.
Good night. Let's see. I don't know, Stacy. I'm waiting her to either come on or you know what, Rita? You are absolutely right. I definitely believe that too. I believe that if COVID wouldn't have came, they would have got away with it. But because of COVID, and because of what took place in COVID, this is what I love about it, because of the fact that COVID exposed so much. It exposed so much. We heard people say, well, they took our rights in 2020. Nope, 2020 and COVID showed you how much was already taken. So they didn't take it in 2020. 2020 just revealed how much was taken from us. Sadly, many are not wanting to engage because some fear it. You know what, Pastor Mays, you were absolutely right. That's why a lot of churches will not get involved. That is why a lot of pastors will not get involved, because they're worried about the backlash. But what they should worry about is when God called them to give an answer and an account to what they didn't do. Then we're going to realize what's going on. Oh, okay. I got you, sir. And I just want to say, ooh, okay, we got a lot. I wanted Pastor Mason to come on. He can't come on right now, Stacy. He can't come on right now. I wanted him on, but he can't right now. But he will be on. Trust me. That is one of my spiritual sons. That is one of my sons, and he will be on. Very smart man, very intelligent man, very anointed by God. So he's going to come on. And so, I think with Corona, it just exposed so much. And now that it's out and they know it's out, they're being aggressive, and they're coming and coming and telling us what they're going to do, telling us what they're going to take, telling us how they're going to teach our children, and they daring us to do something about it. When did you tell him that? Today? Oh yeah, soul ties should be preached from the pulpit. This is how you combat spiritual warfare. That's part of spiritual warfare. And if we never teach how we got caught up in this stuff, if we don't teach about soul ties, a second ago, if we don't teach about soul ties, especially to our young people, all we tell them is you need to stay pure. You need to stay pure until you get married. You need to not have sex until you get married. And yeah, right. We got to do that too. But if we don't teach them, and then they're not going to know. And if they don't know, and they're going through stuff, then how you fight something that they're going through when they don't even know what they're going through because nobody told them about soul ties. Nobody told a 17-year-old, 18-year-old about soul ties, to the fact that after they break up with somebody, then they end up dying. They commit suicide. Or, I remember my dad told me one day, he said, listen, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, they better quit lying on that one. Because, I think that when we look at it for what it really is, right? When we understand what it really is, we don't teach the soul ties, and we don't teach warfare like we supposed to, and so a lot of people in a lot of churches don't even know they need deliverance. They just don't know what's wrong with them. They don't understand, and so when you dealing with someone that has a perversion spirit, somebody in church that watch pornography, somebody in church. Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble tonight, and I'm gonna blame you, Rita, for getting in trouble tonight. Hey, Apostle Robertson, God bless you, sir. But they don't want to talk about all the things that comes with perversion, right? You watching pornography, right? You masturbating, right? You got people that's now having sex with animals right now. You got so much, and I really don't want to go into this right now, but y'all just okay, Rita. Okay. All right. Yes, you are definitely an agitator. But the world system has the body of Christ so busy with stuff that is not something that they should be dealing with right now. We should be on guard, not thinking of the devil is in control, but we should be on guard, understanding that God told us to colonize the earth, to have colonies of kingdom citizens on earth. Kingdom citizens understand who they are and they understand the authority that was given to them, so that way they can go in and do the things that needs to be done to make things right. An average church person can't get it done. A lot of pastors have never dealt with a demon. A lot of pastors never ever dealt with a demon. They preach, but they never did a deliverance service. They never cast out a demon. They never did anything. They never cast out a demon. They never laid hands on the sick and they got healed. So a lot of them can't teach something they don't know, or they don't believe in, or they don't have the faith in it. So when you dealing with this, the Catholic, for example, the Catholic Church cannot deal with the spirit of pedophile when it's running rapid in the Catholic Church. Koji, see, Rita, I know you told you finna get me in trouble. Koji cannot deal with with homosexuality, LGBTQ, when that spirit is running rapid in their organization. Baptists cannot deal with the spirit of whoremongering when that spirit is running rapid in the church. So most churches can't deal with something that is running rapid in that organization or in that church. So you have to get to that place of purity. You have to get to that place of asking God to forgive us. You have to get to that place of saying, Lord, our children is at stake. I need you to fix me so I can go help them. And so when you understand our duty and our job to help set people free and to well, you got to understand, we can't even blame the LGBTQ on Biden. The LGBT came running wild because of Obama. When Obama opened up his mouth and approved that lifestyle from the top as the president of the United States, and then Al Sharpton came behind him and was so proud of people coming out gay, like gay and blacks is the same thing, and everything. You know, leadership. I know you did. It's okay. It's okay. This is what this show is all about. Have fun with it. Let's just have some fun. So, but when we look at this thing, right? This is spiritual, you guys. This is a spiritual battle against for our children, and they want our children to be the sacrifice for them, and they want to sacrifice our children. That's why they're attacking them in K-5 on up, confusing them sexuality. When do children have to know about sexuality at K-5? All right, y'all typing fast now. Let me catch up. Yep, they don't like because they don't know how to deal with demons. They never ever. You can go to 10 pastors, pick 2 out of all the denominations, and ask them, "Have you ever cast out a demon?" And watch what they say, because they never have. So when we look at this thing for what it really is, Let me go to this first, and then I'm gonna come back to yours, Rita. Okay. Now let's go here. The biggest problem with America is when we kick God out of government. When we kick God out of government, when we kick God out of our schools, what we told God is we want to be independent. We do not want to depend on God. We want to be independent. And because we wanted to be independent, this is the mess that we are in. And we allowed them to get rid of God out of government, out of schools, out of everything. We have allowed God to be God. Now it's going to take the remnant to bring God back. It's going to take the remnant to say, God, there's still people here in America that want you to be God over America. Because now what we have done, we have allowed them to make laws that is immorality. We allow them to do things that is not of God. And we allow them to do some things that we should have fixed ourselves. And so it's a lot of stuff that we have to do. And not only speak and not only pray, we got to get up and work now. We have to get up and we have to work. There's some things that we have to do together. Together, we got to come together. We need pastors that is going to be bold, that's going to teach, that's going to preach, that's going to prepare and demonstrate the power of God and help the people to tap into the power of God that's on the inside of them, so that we can turn this country back into a nation that is under God's guidance, because Jesus is Lord, and that word Lord means master. So until we are ready to do that, then we're going to always be able to fight this stuff. Yes, because they don't have no power. See, Rita, this is your fault. I'm blaming you. Anybody get mad at me tonight? I'm blaming you, Rita. But here's the problem. Most pastors went. They was not called. They went to school to become a pastor. But God didn't call them to be pastors. They had a desire, and I give them that. They have a desire, and that is great. They got that desire to do so. But at the same time, Pastor Roger, wait, let me do this. But at the same time, what really happens is this. We have to, Pastor Rogers and Pastor Steve is already connected. If you're talking about Pastor Steve, Pastor Steve and Pastor Roger is already connected. We are the three musketeers, Pastor Steve, Pastor Rogers, and myself. So when we look at this, right, we have to look at it from protecting our children. Oh, okay, good. And I need his number too. Connect me with him too, Rita. Because one thing we definitely do is cast out demons. I don't play with demons. I ain't got time to counsel demons. I cast out demons and counsel the person. But you're not going to be, no. We cannot allow it. And so even with our children, parents, pray over your children and cover them in the blood of the Lamb. Send angels. Do you know you have charge over angels? Send angels to school with your children. You know, we got to do all of these things. We have to speak their safety. We have to make sure that our children stay safe. You know, and so we have to come to that place that we are really ready to do what God wants done. That's where we at right now, because this is good versus evil. This ain't Democrat or Republican. This is good versus evil. That's right. You're absolutely right, sir. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. While I was trying to read George, Stacy popped up and put, I love the clap. Learned that at church. So you know, you're absolutely right. And the thing about it is, this is warfare for our children. We got to be able to cover them in the blood. We got to decree and declare and decree some things over their lives. We got to make sure our angels are following them to school. And some of y'all probably saying angels. Yes, angels. We got to make sure that our children are protected spiritually and naturally. But we have to make sure. Okay, Chad, I appreciate that. And so we have to be alert. We don't even know, you know what? We don't even know what the target is. You got people praying and they don't even know what to pray for. They don't know what's going on in the school system. So how they praying? They don't know what's going on in government. So how they praying? They don't know what's going on in media, but how they praying? They don't know what's going on in arts and entertainment. So how they praying? You don't know what to pray for because you're not involved. You got to get involved so you'll know what to pray for. And don't be a Christian terrorist. Don't tell God, just send down fire and destroy all of them. No. What you ought to pray for first is they come into the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. That's the first thing you ought to do. Now, you can't pray, Lord, don't let them rest until they fix it. Lord, don't let them sleep until they fix it. Lord, don't let them have no peace until they repent and fix it. I'm just going up and seeing what. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out my pistol and start shooting, and we all going to live. How's that? That make you happy? I just had to mess with you on that one, Russ. But you guys, listen. we really, really, we got a lot of work. We got a lot of work. We got a lot of things that we need to do. We got to fight. We got to fight. We got to fight. Even if you ain't got no kids in school anymore, you need to fight. Fight for your neighbor's kids because they still your kids. Fight for the kids in your county. They still your kids. Fight for the kids in your school district. They are still your kids. I don't see no Pastor Moore on here. Where you see Pastor Moore at? I don't see no Pastor Moore. Where you see Pastor Moore at? So we have to come together. Russ, what do you mean? How else do you build a community? If somebody pushing you off the cliff, what are you going to do? Just fall? Now I got too much to live for. But if someone, you guys, I got to say it like this. We have to protect the babies. They are after the children. I said it all through my campaign. I'm saying it now. We see more and more evidence coming forth before us. We see how they're entrapping our children. We see how young they're starting to come after our children. You know, they want the youngest ones to confuse the youngest ones. And so we have a lot of work to do. I didn't make it to the Wauwatosa school board, but I will be looking to see what took place there. How was it? Because we have to make sure we are informed. Being ignorant is no longer an excuse. And so we have to come together and fight for these babies. We have to come together and keep each one of us in tune to what's going on, what's happening. And I'm going to do the same thing. This is what Kingdom Citizens of Wisconsin is all about. We're going to continue to educate, inform people on what's going on. We also know that it needs to be where not just the school system, but every area of life we're going to educate and get people involved in. We're going to start the project Healing Milwaukee. We're going to be doing a lot of different things just to empower people. So, you know, with this stuff with our children, you know, school just starting back. It's just starting back. And we know until we really get involved, it's going to be where our children, we can't go to sleep. We can't go back to sleep. We can't get lazy. I haven't talked to him lately, but someone, if you're going into one of the rallies or anything like that, you need to ask Eric Toney, will he press charges on any school board that is pushing child pornography? He's running for AG. We need to know if he's on the side of our children. That's a question that you ought to ask him. Would you press charges on school board members, or can you press charges on school board members? But we need to look it up first so We can see exactly how he's going to answer that. But we need to know, will you press charges on school board members that are pushing pornography on our children? That is something we all need to know. That is something we all need to know, and it's something that we need to ask. And so, wait a minute. Oh, okay. So this is the thing that we need to think about. We need to look up. I challenge pastors. It's time for pastors to get in. Good night, sir. God bless you. Thank you for everything. Appreciate you. So this is something that we have to ask every pastor to get involved. And if you're at a church and you want me to come and I teach the class on soul ties, that because all our young people need to know about soul ties. We need to teach them. Don't just let them learn that sex is pleasure. There's more to it than that. But we all have to play our part in getting some stuff done. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. I just had to talk about this. It really bothered me today when I saw the crap that they're trying to do to our children. But tomorrow night, we will be doing a teaching on the kingdom of God. And I have Apostle Larry Shaw going to be with me tomorrow. I believe Pastor Steve, I got to check his schedule, but I think Pastor Steve German or Pastor Rogers will be also joining us, and Pastor Elaine McCartney will be with us as we teach on the kingdom of God. And then on Thursday night, we will be back on with the Constitutional Queen, teaching on the Constitution. Like I said, it's all about empowering the people. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We love you, God, you guys. May God continue to bless you.
We got the keys to the kingdom. We gonna unlock the things from the Lord. We got the keys to the kingdom. We gonna unlock the things from the Lord. There's joy in the kingdom. Hey, I know it is. There's peace in the kingdom. Hey, yes it is. We got the keys to the kingdom. Yes we do, I know we do. We gonna unlock the things from the Lord. We got the keys to the kingdom. Yes we do, I know we do. We gonna unlock the things from the Lord. No matter what you're going through, Jesus got the keys for you. You can bind things on earth, it shall be bound in heaven. You can lose things on earth, it shall be loose in heaven.